Sally Mosid walked into Judge Caprio's courtroom looking absolutely drained, dark circles under her eyes, still wearing the scrubs from her shift. She's a newly certified CNA who just wrapped up a brutal 16-hour stretch at Rhode Island Hospital. And now, exhausted and barely awake, she's here to answer for a red light violation, but what makes this case remarkable isn't the ticket. It's Sally. She doesn't make excuses. She doesn't try to twist the story. Instead, she admits exactly what she did, with such honest, funny bluntness that the whole courtroom starts smiling. And then something no one expects happens. A SWAT team inspector stands up and says something that changes everything. Before we reveal what Inspector Carey said, the moment that turned this routine traffic case into one of the most heartwarming scenes in Providence municipal court history, hit that subscribe button. We're racing towards 600,000 subscribers, yet 97% of viewers still haven't subscribed to Judge Stories. If this moment of compassion for a healthcare worker touches you, drop a comment below. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why Judge Caprio's decision wasn't just about traffic law, it was about honoring the people who save lives every single day. Here's a question for you. Have you ever been so exhausted from work that you made a mistake? What happened to Sally proves that sometimes, when someone is drained from caring for others, what they deserve isn't punishment, but compassion. Wednesday afternoon, 3:20 p.m., Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio looks up as the bailiff calls the next case, Sally Moskadon, citation for failure to stop at a red light. Sally steps forward, and instantly it's obvious she's running on fumes. She's still in her light blue hospital scrubs covered in cartoon characters, the kind CNAs wear to cheer up their patients. Her hair is pulled into a no-nonsense ponytail. Her nursing shoes squeak slightly on the floor. But it's her eyes that reveal the truth. This woman hasn't slept properly in days, Miss Mosid, Judge Caprio says gently, noticing her condition right away. Please come forward. I can see you came straight from work. Sally approaches the podium with a tired smile. Yes, Your Honor. Rhode Island Hospital. I finished a double shift about an hour ago. A double shift? How long were you working? 16 hours, Your Honor. 3 p.m. yesterday to 7 a.m. this morning. Then I had to be here by 3, so I just stayed awake. She laughs a little, the kind of laugh that comes when you're too tired to even be stressed about being in court. Judge Caprio's expression softens immediately. Anyone can see this woman has been caring for people all night long. Miss Mosid, you're a CNA, correct? Yes, Your Honor. Just certified 3 months ago. Still new, but I love it. Even when it wears me out. There's real warmth in her voice. Judge Caprio nods. Well, let's talk about why you're here. You're cited for running a red light on Hope Street. Can you tell me what happened? Sally takes a breath, and what she says next is so honest, and unintentionally hilarious, that the whole courtroom instantly relaxes. Your Honor, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm too tired to come up with a good excuse anyway. The courtroom laughs. Even Judge Caprio smiles. I already appreciate your honesty, Miss Mosid. So here's what happened, Sally continues. I was driving home after my shift and came to this intersection. The light was red, and in my exhausted brain I thought, okay, I'll just yield through it. Judge Caprio raises his eyebrows. Yield through a red light? I know. Sally covers her face, laughing at herself. It made perfect sense at the time, Your Honor. In my half-asleep brain I was like, there's no cars coming. I'll just slow down and go through carefully, like it was a yield sign. Not a stop sign. Not a red light. Yield. The entire courtroom is smiling now. There's something disarming about her complete honesty and self-awareness. Miss Mose said, "You understand red lights don't work that way." "Oh, I am very aware now, Your Honor. Especially when I saw the police lights behind me. That woke me up real fast." She mimicked suddenly snapping awake, eyes wide. I was like, yep. What was I thinking? That's not a thing. Judge Caprio tries not to laugh. "So you're admitting you ran the red light?" 100%, Your Honor. I didn't stop. I definitely didn't stop. I kind of rolled through carefully, but that's still running it. I know that. I'm not trying to get out of it. I'm just explaining that my brain was running on maybe 3 hours of sleep over 2 days, and apparently thought traffic laws were negotiable. Subscribe to Truth and Power on YouTube if you believe healthcare workers deserve recognition for their sacrifice and service. Judge Caprio pulls up the traffic camera footage on the courtroom monitor. Ms. Mose Cad, let's take a look at the video together. Sally watches the screen, already bracing herself. Oh boy, here we go. The footage shows exactly what she described. Sally's car approaches the red light, slows down a lot, but never fully stops. She looks both ways, then eases through the intersection carefully. "Yeah, that's pretty much what I did," Sally admits. "I can see why the officer stopped me. That's definitely running a red light, even if I was going super slow." Judge Caprio studies the footage closely. "Ms. Mose Cad, I see you slowed down considerably, and you clearly checked for traffic, but you're right. You didn't stop." "No, Your Honor," Sally says, half smiling at herself. "I was doing this weird safety yield thing that doesn't actually exist in traffic law." The prosecutor steps in. "Your Honor, the violation is clear. Ms. Mose Cad has admitted to the offense, and the video confirms it. The fine is $85. Sally's face tightens. For some people, $85 is nothing. But for a newly certified CNA who just finished a brutal 16-hour shift, it hits the budget hard. Judge Caprio notices, "Ms. Mose Cad, is $85 a problem for you?" Sally sits up straighter, dignity intact despite her exhaustion. "Your Honor, if I have to pay it, I'll pay it. I did run the light. It's just, CNAs don't make a lot. And I'm still paying off my certification courses. But, it's okay. I made the mistake. No excuses. No begging. Just honesty about the violation and the reality of her situation." Judge Caprio is clearly thinking something over, when suddenly, someone stands up in the back of the courtroom. "Your Honor, may I address the court?" Everyone turns. A man in plain clothes with the unmistakable posture of law enforcement stands tall. His badge hangs on his belt. "Providence Police Department." Judge Caprio looks surprised but attentive. "Please identify yourself for the record." "Inspector Michael Carey, Providence Police, SWAT Division. I'm here for a case later on today." "Inspector Carey," Caprio says, "you have something to say about Ms. Mose Cad's case?" Sally looks confused and slightly nervous. She has no idea who this man is or why he's standing up for her. Inspector Carey steps forward, respectful but steady. "Your Honor, I don't know Ms. Mose Cad personally. But I know exactly where she works and what she does. Rhode Island Hospital. CNA. Overnight shift." Sally nods slowly, still unsure where this is going. "Your Honor," he continues, "I'm a SWAT inspector. My job involves high-risk calls, critical incidents, life or death decisions. And I can tell you this, what Ms. Mose Cad does every night is just as demanding as what I do." The courtroom falls silent. CNAs at Rhode Island Hospital work with the sickest patients. They're the ones responding when someone codes at 3 a.m. They're the ones holding hands when someone is dying. They do the hardest, most physical, most emotionally draining work in that hospital. And they're paid far less than their value. Sally's eyes fill with tears. She never expected anyone to defend her, let alone understand her job so deeply. Inspector Carey continues, voice steady, Your Honor, I've worked 16-hour shifts. I know that kind of exhaustion. I know what it's like to sit in your car afterward and feel your brain running at half speed. And Ms. Moscad, even in that state, slowed down, checked for traffic, and proceeded cautiously. Was it legal? No. But was it the action of someone just trying to get home safely after saving lives all night? Judge Caprio listens intently, clearly moved by Inspector Carey's words. I'm not saying we should ignore traffic laws, Your Honor, the inspector continues, but context matters. Ms. Moscad wasn't joyriding. She wasn't texting or driving under the influence. She was exhausted from caring for some of our community's sickest people, and she made a tired mistake trying to get home safely. Another voice rises from the courtroom. Your Honor, may I add something? Another man stands, also clearly law enforcement. Inspector Thomas Quinn, Providence Police. I want to second everything Inspector Carey just said, he begins. Judge Caprio nods. Go ahead, Inspector Quinn. My mother was in Rhode Island Hospital last year, Quinn says. CNAs cared for her around the clock. They noticed when she was declining. They comforted her when she was scared. They probably saved her life by catching things early. And I know they were working those same exhausting shifts Ms. Moscad described. Sally is openly crying now, trying to wipe her tears discreetly. These healthcare workers are heroes, Your Honor, Quinn continues. They don't get enough recognition. They don't get paid enough. And they certainly don't deserve to be punished for being human after saving lives all night. The courtroom erupts in spontaneous applause. Sally covers her face, overwhelmed. Don't forget to subscribe to Judge Stories on YouTube for more moments where humanity triumphs over bureaucracy. Judge Caprio waits for the applause to die down, then looks directly at Sally. Ms. Moscad, look at me, please. Sally wipes her eyes and meets his gaze. Did you run that red light? Yes, Your Honor. Was that against the law? Yes, Your Honor. Should you have stopped completely? Absolutely, Your Honor. Judge Caprio nods. Good. Traffic laws exist for safety. Red lights mean stop. Not yield, not slow down, stop. I understand, Your Honor. I really do, Sally says softly. However, Judge Caprio continues, his voice softening, I also need to acknowledge what Inspectors Carey and Quinn said. They're right, context matters, intent matters, and what you were doing when you made this mistake matters enormously. Sally holds her breath, unsure what's coming next. Ms. Moscad, you spent 16 hours caring for people who couldn't care for themselves. You were running on fumes, exhausted from literally saving lives. And you made a judgment error trying to get home safely. You weren't reckless. You weren't endangering anyone. You were a tired healthcare worker who thought she could yield through a red light. The courtroom chuckles warmly at the callback to Sally's earlier explanation. Now, Judge Caprio continues, I could enforce this $85 fine. The law allows it. You admitted the violation, and the evidence is clear. But the law also allows me discretion, to balance rules with humanity. He picks up his stamp, not the fine enforcing one. Ms. Moscad, this citation is dismissed. No fine, no points, no penalty. Sally's hands fly to her mouth. Fresh tears start flowing. Your Honor, are you serious? She whispers, completely serious. You're free to go. But, I ran the light. I admitted it. Yes, you did. And your honesty is part of why I'm dismissing this. You didn't make excuses. You didn't lie. You took responsibility. That matters. Judge Caprio leans forward. Ms. Moscad, I want you to know something. This courtroom, this city, this community, we see you. We see the work you do. We see the sacrifices you make, and we are grateful. Sally is sobbing now, unable to speak. You asked if $85 was a problem. Here's the real problem. A healthcare worker who just saved lives for 16 hours having to pay a fine for being exhausted. That's the problem. So I'm not going to add to your burden. I'm going to say thank you instead. The courtroom erupts in applause again. Inspectors Carey and Quinn clap. The prosecutor smiles. Even the court staff look emotional. Through her tears, Sally manages, "Thank you so much. You have no idea what this means." "I think I do, Ms. Moscad," Judge Caprio says gently. "Now go home, get some rest," Judge Caprio says gently, "and please, next time you see a red light, even if you're exhausted, stop completely." "I promise, Your Honor," Sally replies, voice trembling but determined. Full stop every time. No more creative traffic interpretations. Judge Caprio chuckles warmly. Good. And Miss Moscad, keep doing what you're doing at the hospital. People like you are why the rest of us can have hope when we're sick or scared. He waits for the applause to fade, then turns his full attention back to her. "Ms. Moscad, look at me, please." Sally wipes her eyes and meets his gaze. "Did you run that red light?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Was that against the law?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Should you have stopped completely?" "Absolutely, Your Honor." Judge Caprio nods. Good. Traffic laws exist for a reason. Red lights mean stop. Not yield, not slow down, stop. I understand, Your Honor. I really do, Sally says softly. However, the judge continues, his voice warm and steady. I also need to acknowledge what Inspectors Carey and Quinn said. They're right, context matters, intent matters, and what you were doing when you made this mistake matters enormously. Sally holds her breath, unsure of what's coming. "Ms. Moscad, you spent 16 hours caring for people who couldn't care for themselves. You were running on fumes, exhausted from literally saving lives. And you made a judgment error while trying to get home safely. You weren't reckless. You weren't endangering anyone. You were a tired healthcare worker who thought she could yield through a red light." The courtroom chuckles warmly at the callback to her earlier explanation. "Now, I could enforce this $85 fine. The law allows it. You admitted the violation, and the evidence is clear. But the law also allows me discretion, to balance rules with humanity." Judge Caprio picks up his stamp, but it's not the one for fines. "Ms. Moscad, this citation is dismissed. No fine, no points, no penalty." Sally's hands fly to her mouth, tears spilling freely. "Your Honor, are you serious?" she whispers, completely serious. "You're free to go." "But, I ran the light. I admitted it." "Yes, you did. And your honesty is part of why I'm dismissing this. You didn't make excuses. You didn't lie. You took responsibility. That matters." Judge Caprio leans forward, eyes soft. "Ms. Moscad, I want you to know something. This courtroom, this city, this community, we see you. We see the work you do. We see the sacrifices you make, and we are grateful. Sally is sobbing now, unable to speak. You asked if $85 was a problem. Here's the real problem. A healthcare worker who just saved lives for 16 hours having to pay a fine for being exhausted. That's the problem. So I'm not going to add to your burden. I'm going to say thank you instead. The courtroom erupts in applause once more. Inspectors Carey and Quinn clap. The prosecutor smiles. Even the court staff look moved. Through her tears, Sally manages, "Thank you so much. You have no idea what this means." "I think I do, Ms. Moscad," Judge Caprio replies gently.